What creepypasta scared you so much it wouldn't stop bothering you? The Harbinger experiment. A scientist named Zimmerman worked on an experiment where he would open up a portal to another dimension and bring in 3 entities. One of the entities breaks all hell, and kills everybody in the facility, except for the protagonist, a doctor. The ending of the story shows that the entity is still free out into the world years after the experiment took place. I don't know if it's true, but I once saw something about the old Soviet Union about creating zombie-like things, and it worked. They sewed a puppy's head to the body of a grown dog, and albeit the puppy wasn't that mentally capable, it still reacted to sounds and stuff, and because that worked they moved on to bringing dead people back to life. They got as far as getting gurgles and movement of the head until they realized what they were doing was messing with Mother Nature. Got me scared of the Soviet Union and zombies actually happening for a long time. Still get squeamish when thinking about it. Oh man, I can't remember the title, but it's the one where the boy likes to talk to furniture. His parents see this and they make more furniture for him to talk to. Anyway, the twist is that the parents are evil doctors who kidnap people and sew them into furniture, and the boy just interacts with them like a normal couch or bed. Couldn't get it out of my head for the longest time. There was one about a disease people got that made their whole bodies itch so badly that one girl scratched out her eye with a spoon to scratch behind the eye. I wish I could remember what it was called, but it freaked me out every time I had a tiny itch anywhere for like a month. It doesn't look like anyone has mentioned it yet, but who has read Psychosis? That was the last creepypasta I was able to read for a long time. The fact that you can sit there and drive yourself insane so easily. It's too real. I still even have small flashbacks to the damn story, and it's been 6 years since I've read it. Scary shit. Boraska. Kid lives in a sleepy mining town with his best friends, a guy and a girl. Male friend, MF, and female friend, FF, both have K names and red hair, which Kid finds a little unusual, but whatever. MF and FF eventually develop feelings for each other, and the mom of one of them, can't remember which, flips TF out, but they chalk it up to her being kind of a snob and thinking her kid could do better. FF goes missing and Kid and MF set out to find her. Eventually they discover her being kept in a bunker with several other girls. It's revealed to them, and to the reader, that there's some kind of problem in the town that causes most of the women to have fertility issues. So the fertile girls, women, are kidnapped, imprisoned in the bunker, and raped by the town officials, and the resulting children are sold to couples struggling to conceive. The kids are given names beginning with the first letter of the name of whatever official fathered them. Kid and MF realize MF and FF have red hair and K names because they share a father, and that the mum was so freaked out by their relationship because she realized the kids were unwittingly practicing incest. Edit because I forgot this part. Kid also had an older sister who mysteriously disappeared and was dismissed as a teenage runaway, and who turns up later as one of the mothers in the bunker. Slenderman activates a portion of my brain that causes irrational paranoia, which is a symptom of Slenderman stalking, which then freaks me out more. One time I thought I saw him, and I've never been more afraid of anything in my life. It's just the very idea of this thing that I physically cannot do anything to defend myself against terrifies the hell out of me, to the point where I have to force myself to believe that he is not real. Also, I fucking hate clowns. I was in a pretty bad place when I first heard Squidward's suicide. I was around 15 years old, at a summer camp for a month with a bunch of cool kids who could listen to creepypastas for hours without feeling scared at all, or so they said. Well, this was the first time in my life that I had a really bad sleep schedule, so I was going to bed around 4:30 and waking up around 8. And I wasn't eating right. So, I don't know exactly what was up, but for some reason, when someone brought up Squidward's suicide in the dining hall during lunch one day, it hit me pretty hard. They read the story, and it freaked me out enough. I have always loved scary stuff, but lost media in general always scared me for some reason, so maybe that got me a little? Not sure, but after reading the story, they said want to see what Squidward looked like? And I reluctantly said yes. They quickly swung their laptop around the table, and when that picture got to me I screamed so loud that half the packed cafeteria could hear me. and I almost fell out of my seat. That image shook me to the core. That night, I couldn't look around my dorm room without being terrified. Someone had written the word hell in glow-in-the-dark ink on my ceiling probably years before. I had to cover it with cardboard. The water stains on the wall that I had seen daily? They started to look like the silhouette of Squidward and I couldn't look at them. It was absolutely ridiculous, but I couldn't get the image of his burning red eyes out of my mind. My other friends decided to look at the picture after I reluctantly told them why I was so scared, and they told me that it was freaky out of pity. After that day, I couldn't watch SpongeBob for 2 years, and whenever I thought of that image I almost started crying, or did. When I was 17 or 18 I finally had the courage to look at the object of my fear for so long. It had gotten less intense over the years, but the idea of looking at it was still terrifying. So, I googled it, and, of course, it was just a badly photoshopped image of Squidward with bloody eyes. I was done lol now, like after that the pic that went with the expressionlessly messed with me, but I was done after I finally found out about its origin last week. That one was like too much, man. Jeff the Killer, until I realized he was just an emo boy with psychotic behavior. Then I also realized how unrealistic it was. Seriously though, cut his eyelids off so he would never sleep again. How the fuck could he manage to do that and not take out a fucking eye? Also, humans need sleep to be able to live or have energy. See Russian sleep experiment. Also, that ruins his super speed because I take it from someone who tried to run track after a night of Mountain Dew and video games. It doesn't work so well. Paraphrasing the hell out of this one. Blink. This could happen in the middle of the night while you're trying to sleep. While you have your eyes tightly shut, you might hear a knock on your window. If you do hear it, you must keep your eyes closed. No matter what you hear next, you must keep your eyes closed. You might next hear footsteps or movement around in the room. You must keep your eyes shut. You might even feel something touching you as you lie on your bed. You must keep your eyes shut. For the rest of the night until dawn, it will try anything to get you to open them. It might shake you around, it might knock things over. You must keep your eyes shut. We forgot about Muriel. Listened to it on a No Sleep podcast a while back. I don't scare easily, but because of the voice talent, it scared me out of my wits while I was cleaning a house in broad daylight. The story about a man called Jimmy C. Basically, a guy goes into a bar and is greeted by a man named Jimmy C who knows everything about this guy, and claims he was supposed to take his life that day. He said he had creepy teeth and kept licking his lips. And said the next time he'd see him, he'd be driving a black Mercedes with the license plate Utopia. Really creepy fucking story. I read late at night one night and it just creeped me out. It was a video. Don't know the name of it. Was set in a basement. Woman was tied about near the corner with a blindfold. A man in a bird mask is crawling towards her in the most inhuman way, getting closer and closer and crawling up around her body right on top of her. Scariest shit I've ever seen in my life. So this creepypasta is more like a meme made by the Spanish. Its name is Ayuwoki and it comes from Michael Jackson's Annie Are You Okay? And a video on YouTube called Michael Jackson. He usually comes at late hours, and if he comes for you, Dwayne The Rock will send you an email before Ayuwoki comes saying something like I would have sleep because at this hour comes Ayuwoki. Then you hear a hee or smooth criminal intensifying. He will teleport behind you. To defend from him you gotta scream "Ew" as hard as you can, so Freddie Mercury comes to protect you because Ayuwoki and Freddie Mercury are natural enemies. It does not sound scary, but when you see his face it kinda creeps you out. Just search Ayuwoki on YouTube. The Backrooms, I love it and hate it at the same time. The reason why it freaks me out is because my grandparents used to own a company, and they had a place in an office complex, and it was actually similar to the Backrooms except the walls were just all white. It wasn't very large, but it had a few rooms and hallways and such, and had the old moist carpet smell and fluorescent lights with the hum buzzes. Well, one time when I was a lot younger, my grandmother had to get something from the office and I had to go with her. So we walk in and I go to explore the place, cues why not. We were the only ones there and it was dead silent except for the lights and my footsteps, and I just walked around and it just felt like I was being watched. I got a terrible gut feeling and so I just run out of the building and just wait outside. So reading about the backrooms just gives me that feeling but just 50 times worse. I don't remember the name, but there was one about a small town that had something killing their livestock. I think they thought it was a cougar. They set traps and audio recordings of baby rabbits squeaking to lure and catch the cougar, and the storyteller could hear them every night from their room and it sounded more like screams. Spoiler. Later, the townspeople discovered that their audio players had been broken from the start, so the source of the screams is unknown. I don't really know why this one haunts me so much. Maybe due to how it was written. But does anyone know the title?